The question hit me harder than I expected. "Do you still trust me?" she asked, her voice soft, trembling just enough to sound sincere. But there was something behind her eyes. Something rehearsed, something waiting. My fork froze halfway to my mouth. The noise of the restaurant, clinking glasses, murmured laughter, the faint hum of jazz faded into static. For a few seconds, it was just her voice echoing in my head, and the slow, sickening realization that I already knew the answer. I didn't respond right away. Instead, I studied her face. The way she avoided eye contact. The nervous twitch in her thumb as she tapped the side of her glass. She only did that when she was hiding something. I'd seen it before. When she lied about staying late at work. When she said she'd missed my calls because of bad service. "Why are you asking me that?" I finally said. My voice was calm, almost too calm. She smiled, a fragile, wavering smile that didn't reach her eyes. "Because you've been distant lately. I just want to know if we're okay." "We're okay." That phrase used to mean something. Now it sounded like a line from a script. I looked down at my plate. The steak was cooling fast, pink juices pooling on the edges. My appetite was gone. "You tell me," I said. "Are we?" Her eyes flickered up for a second. "Of course," she said too quickly. "Why wouldn't we be?" I didn't answer. I just reached for the check, signaled the waiter, and said quietly but firmly, "We're done here." The silence that followed was louder than any argument we'd ever had. It started months earlier, small things at first. Late meetings. Unanswered texts. A new perfume I hadn't seen before sitting on her dresser. She'd brush it all off with that tired laugh of hers. "You're being paranoid, Luke. Not everything's a conspiracy." And maybe I was paranoid. Maybe I'd been reading too much into things, letting insecurity fill in the blanks where trust used to live. But then came the lies, the ones too obvious to ignore. One Friday night, she said she was out with coworkers for drinks. Around 10 I called just to say goodnight. It went straight to voicemail. At midnight, still nothing. By 1 I stopped pretending not to care. She came home at 2 in the morning, hair slightly messy, lipstick faintly smudged. She smelled like whiskey and cologne that wasn't mine. "Rough night?" I asked. She smiled again, that fragile fake smile. "Just tired." "Why are you still up?" I almost asked then. Almost told her I could smell him on her. But I didn't. Instead I said, "Just couldn't sleep." She kissed my cheek, a half-second press of cold lips, and went straight to the shower. I sat there on the couch, listening to the water run, wondering when exactly love had turned into suspicion. 2 weeks later I saw him. She called him her work friend. A harmless colleague always hanging around her desk, always laughing too hard at her jokes. His name was Ryan, tall, smooth, with that effortless confidence people either admired or hated. I hated him. I stopped by her office one afternoon, surprising her with coffee. She looked startled, almost panicked when she saw me standing there. "Luke, what are you doing here?" I held up the cup. "Thought you could use a caffeine break." Ryan leaned casually against her desk, smiling like he owned the room. "You must be the famous husband," he said. His handshake lingered too long, his grin too wide. "Yeah," I said. "That's me." Her eyes darted between us, uneasy. "Ryan, can you give us a sec?" she said. He winked at her before walking off. Caught it. So did she. After he left, I said, "He seems friendly." She sighed. "Don't start, Luke. He's just a coworker." I wanted to believe her. God, I really did. But trust, once cracked, never fully heals. It just waits for the next fracture. The night everything fell apart, she came home early. Her face was pale, her eyes red. I was sitting in the living room, pretending to read but mostly staring at the door, waiting for something I couldn't name. She stood there for a long time before speaking. "I think we need to talk." My stomach dropped. Those 6 words never lead anywhere good. She sat across from me, twisting her hands together. "I haven't been honest with you," she said. "Ryan and we got too close. It wasn't supposed to happen." The words didn't even sound real. They echoed in the space between us, hollow and final. I laughed once, sharp and humorless. "Too close. That's what we're calling it now." Tears welled up in her eyes. "It was a mistake, Luke. I swear. It's over now. I ended it." "Did you?" I asked. "Or did he end it?" She flinched, and that was all the answer I needed. For a long moment, neither of us said anything. I looked at her, the woman I'd spent 7 years loving, and realized I didn't recognize her anymore. Finally, I stood up. "You should go." She reached for me, but I stepped back. "Luke, please. I love you." "No," I said quietly. "You love the version of me that never asked questions." She cried then, but I didn't. I'd already done all my crying in the silence before the confession. That brings me back to tonight, sitting across from her at that restaurant, listening to her ask if I still trusted her. In the weeks since she confessed, she'd begged me to meet her. Said she wanted to make things right. Said she'd do anything to fix what she broke. I agreed, though I wasn't sure why. Maybe I needed closure. Maybe I just wanted to see if she still looked guilty. But when she asked that question, when she looked at me like I was the one who owed her reassurance, I realized something I hadn't before. I didn't hate her. I didn't even love her anymore. I just felt empty. So I placed the napkin beside my plate, met her eyes one last time, and said, "No, I don't trust you. Not anymore." Then I asked for the check and walked out. Outside, the night air was sharp and cold. The city lights blurred in my eyes, not from tears, but from a kind of exhausted relief. For the first time in months, I didn't feel trapped. Behind me, through the glass, I could see her still sitting there, motionless, her face pale under the dim restaurant lights. She had asked if I still trusted her. But she never thought to ask the real question, if I'd ever forgive her. And that answer I realized she'd never get.